Silence beneath. It started with a hum, faint at first, almost imperceptible, a vibration that buzzed just beneath the surface of the world. People wrote it off as tinnitus, a glitch in their senses, or the hum of distant machinery. But the sound wasn't coming from anything mechanical. It was deeper, older, more patient. A research team stationed in Antarctica was the first to detect the anomaly, though they didn't realize what it was at the time. Seismic sensors that had been monitoring the shifting ice recorded a low-frequency pulse, steady, rhythmic, like the heartbeat of something enormous, buried miles beneath the frozen landscape. At first they thought it was a natural phenomenon, the groaning of glaciers or perhaps volcanic activity. But as they continued their studies, the pulse grew stronger, and it was spreading. The hum, once limited to the frozen wasteland, began to travel. Reports of the mysterious sound came in from all over the world, a faint but constant buzzing just on the edge of hearing, as if something massive was stirring deep underground. In cities, it rattled the foundations of skyscrapers, barely noticeable yet unnerving. In the countryside, it made the earth seem to tremble, ever so slightly, like the skin of the world, shivering in anticipation of something unspeakable. Then people began to change. At first, it was subtle. Those who heard the hum for too long complained of headaches, pressure building in their skulls like a rising tide. Some experienced vivid, incomprehensible dreams, visions of dark, endless tunnels winding deeper into the ground with something waiting at the bottom. Others heard whispers in the hum, faint voices that spoke in a language no one could understand, but filled them with terror. Soon the physical symptoms began. It started with their teeth. Without warning, they would fall out, crumbling like brittle porcelain, leaving bloody gaps in their gums. But the teeth weren't gone. They were moving. Days later, small, hard shapes could be felt beneath their skin, migrating down their throats, into their chests, toward their stomachs. Doctors were baffled, unable to explain the phenomenon, until autopsies revealed that the teeth had somehow embedded themselves in the victim's digestive tracts, forming jagged ivory clumps deep in the belly. And the hum continued to grow louder. Reports of bizarre behavior followed. Entire towns would fall silent overnight. Their inhabitants found wandering in the streets at dawn, mouths slack, eyes glazed over. Some would claw at the ground, tearing their nails bloody as they tried to dig, always in the same direction, as if something was calling them from deep within the earth. Others would gather in groups, standing perfectly still, eyes cast toward the horizon, swaying in rhythm with the pulse of the hum. Governments tried to intervene. Military units were dispatched to affected areas, but they found themselves unable to stop the spread of the hum. Entire regions fell into a trance, their populations moving with a singular, mindless purpose, digging. They dug with their hands, with tools, with anything they could find. Fields, cities, parks, all turned into vast pits as the human race, guided by the unrelenting hum, clawed its way downward. And still, no one knew what they were digging for. Then came the awakened. Those who had spent too long in proximity to the hum underwent a final, horrifying transformation. Their skin grew pale and translucent, veins darkening as though filled with some inky black fluid, their limbs elongated, bones shifting grotesquely beneath the flesh, joints popping in ways that defied human anatomy. They no longer spoke, but instead emitted guttural clicking sounds, communicating in a language only they understood. The awakened were the first to reach it. Beneath the earth, deep in the caverns that had lain untouched for eons, they uncovered vast structures, monoliths of an alien architecture, ancient and pulsing with the same rhythm as the hum. The structures were not made of any material known to science. They seemed alive, breathing, their surfaces rippling like water in response to the awakened's presence. And beneath those structures, something stirred. The hum wasn't just sound, it was a signal, a call sent through the very bedrock of the planet, activating something buried long before mankind had even crawled from the primordial ooze. It wasn't a machine or a creature, it was both, something vast, ancient, and sentient that had been dormant beneath the earth's crust, waiting for the right moment to awaken. And that moment had come. As the hum reached a crescendo, the ground began to crack. Massive fissures split the surface of the earth, swallowing cities whole. Out of these fractures crawled the awakened, their twisted bodies writhing as they heralded the arrival of what lay beneath. They were no longer human. They were the servants of the thing that had slept for millennia. The planet itself began to shudder as the true form of the entity emerged. It was not bound by flesh or bone, but by something far more terrifying. It was a living thought, a sentient energy that had once ruled the stars before falling into its slumber beneath the earth. Its tendrils, made of pure pulsating light, spread across the globe, wrapping around mountains, oceans, cities. Wherever they touched, they consumed. The entity didn't want to destroy the world. It wanted to assimilate it. The surviving humans, those who had resisted the hum for as long as they could, found themselves hunted by the awakened. They weren't killing them. They were converting them, forcefully merging their bodies with the growing organism beneath the surface. Skin fused with soil, bones melded with stone until there was no separation between earth and human, between flesh and the thing that was rising. In the end, the world did not explode, burn, or freeze. It shifted, transformed into a living entity, a grotesque, planetary consciousness that absorbed everything in its path. Earth became a new kind of being, a fusion of ancient, alien will and the terrified remnants of humanity, stretching its tendrils toward the stars. The last remnants of human consciousness screamed in the void, but there was no escape. There was only the hum. And in the darkness of the universe, other worlds began to tremble, as the hum started to echo through space, searching for new life to